1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Here recently, one thing has been at the forefront of my mind. You might think that it is spring break or even graduating. Really, it's been what comes after graduation. And no, I don't mean summer. College and post-secondary education has been in my thoughts day and night. There are a lot of variables to consider in choosing a college and major. Logically, you should figure out where you're going to study before what you're going to study. So I'm going to start with what to think about when choosing a college. My name is Joseph Trice, and this is choosing a college and major. There are many factors that go into choosing your university or college. First thing to consider is cost. Expenses such as tuition, room, board, and books pile up quickly, making financing and education difficult. According to collegecalc.org, the average annual in-state tuition in Tennessee is $16,313 for the 2020-2021 academic year. To help pay for these hefty costs, institutions offer scholarships and student loans, and you can also get outside student loans to help pay for it. Now, there are two types of student loans. There is subsidized and unsubsidized loans. Subsidized accrue interest 6 months after you get out of school, and unsubsidized loans start picking up interest as soon as you get them. So kind of want to stay away from unsubsidized as much as you can and try to stick to subsidized loans so that it doesn't build up on you while you're still getting your education. The next factor to consider is distance. And distance is a double-edged sword. You're far away from mom and dad, which sucks, but you also get to meet so many new people and experience so many new things that it makes it worth it in the end. But the thing is, living in Middle Tennessee, there aren't very many far in-state colleges that you can go to. The most you'd have to drive is maybe 4 hours to east or west. And that is a very good perk of living in Tennessee. That's not a very far drive anywhere. The next thing to consider is the quality of education. Sacrificing your learning is not something that you should settle for. Most universities and colleges offer good programs, but it's still something to look out for and research before you enroll in a college. And lastly, you should go with what feels right. During the selection process, you should visit and get a feel for the campuses and students at each college you look at. Many people in life have told me to go with my gut, and I believe this is an effective way of thinking about choosing a college. And if it feels right, it probably is right. You're more likely to succeed if you're happy with where you are, and it'd be miserable living for 4 years somewhere where you dread getting up every day. Now that you know what to look for and where you're going to study, let's look into how to weigh what you're going to study. Universities and colleges offer a multitude of programs and majors, and finding just the right one might seem a little bit overwhelming. The first thing to consider when looking into majors is your own personal interests. Look back at your favorite high school classes and pick something derived from those. Even interests outside of school, for example, farming, should take into consideration whenever you're looking for your major. So if, for example, I like farming, which I don't, but if you enjoyed farming, you should go into the agriculture field and study something in there. The next thing that you should consider when picking a major is personal strengths and weaknesses. Look back on high school again and look at the classes you scored the best in and the classes you didn't do so well in. Maybe stay away from the ones you didn't do so well in and try to pick a major that focuses on the classes that you excelled in high school. Now, you can succeed in any major that you choose, but why make college harder than it already is by choosing something you're not good at? Next, you should look at career pay and job availability. The point of college is to specialize students for the workforce, so students should consider what that degree is going to get them after college. I plan to major in mechanical engineering, which has a starting pay of $52,280 in Tennessee, according to careerexplorer.com, and that's a big incentive for me to finish my degree and get out into the workforce as quickly as possible. And lastly, just keep in mind that your major can change and probably will. If you start classes in a major and decide it's not for you, don't be afraid to reach out to the university because they have lots of ways to change your major and find out what's best for you. An article from 2017 by the U.S. Department of Education shows that about 30% of undergraduates and associates and bachelor's degree programs who declared a major changed that at least once during their time in college. This study shows anything can change, and it is important for students to find a major that's right for them. Now knowing how to weigh your options, the big decision should be a lot easier to make. Deciding on a college or major should be a painless process if you do proper research and thinking prior. If careful consideration and investigation cannot give you answers, it's always a safe bet just to go with what feels right to you. Spring break, graduation, and summer should seem a bit more enticing, knowing I won't have to worry about what happens after. Thank you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.